You're watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood Subdivision. I'm Harold, thanks for watching. You can see in this picture of the prototype that it's very common for the prototype to branch off from an area where there is a roadbed that is ballasted onto a siding or industrial spur where the track on the industrial spur is laid directly on the ground or on the sub-roadbed. So we could have the same situation in our model railroad. And that's what we're seeing right here. We have a mainline track represented by this turnout that stops right here. There is a transition to the sub-roadbed where the track is laid directly on the sub-roadbed. So this is our transition piece, and this is what we're going to learn how to make today on the Norfolk Southern Sherwood Subdivision, so please stay tuned for that. You may also have an interest in our layout construction, operations, or how-to videos that can be found in playlists on our channel. But for now, we're going to learn how to make one of these transitions, and that's going to start right away. When our train goes over this transition, it's going to move from the sub-roadbed level to the roadbed level, and it'll look like this. So you say that's quite steep. Well, it is steep, but it's a short distance. It's only 10 inches between those two things. If done properly, which we will show you in a moment, you will not have unwanted uncouplings as a result of the change in the height of the track. However, if your couplers are a little off balance, too high, too low, or not working properly, some uncoupling could occur. If you want information about how to upgrade your rolling stock so it runs better, check out the video that you can see in the card at the top of the screen. Now back to today's subject. What material should we use to make our little ramp? Well, the ramp is only, 330 seconds high, so it doesn't take a lot. We have a number of choices. So let's say this represents our main line. We could put a piece of plastic. Wouldn't have to do any work because it naturally slopes. Problem, it's flexible. So you would need to put something under here to shim it. You could do that, not favoring that approach. How about a piece of cardstock? Well, it's not as flexible. Still has this problem. We've also seen suggestions about the wood wedges you could buy at the hardware store. They use them for leveling doors and windows. The concern that I would have with that is if you're going to use a wet ballasting agent, for example using wet water or scenic cement, and this cardstock or the wood absorbs the liquid, it could expand and ruin your whole day. So why not do the obvious thing? We're going to make our little ramp out of the sub-roadbed, the cork. I'll show you how right now. These are the only materials you will need. A sanding sponge, and of course the cork roadbed. What we've done, we've measured off a 10-inch piece, corresponds to the piece that we saw in the opening, and we're going to sand it down so that the thickness at the beginning is the same as the cork, and it tapers off at the end. So let's get started with that. And you can see we're going to continue doing this until it's complete. It's a process of just shaving off the top and making sure that you have a smooth transition. So I'm going to complete this and we'll take a look at it when it's done. After some sanding, this is the result. You have a nice smooth transition coming down here to near the surface of the sub-roadbed. And I have this held in there with push pins as though you're going to glue it to your layout. So that's what we're trying to achieve, is that smooth transition. In a moment I'll show you what that looks like with track. We've now added the track, and you can see the same sort of thing that we saw without the track. We have the transition here. There is a grade, but it's not exceptionally steep. And this looks very much like the one that we saw in the layout earlier. There's a little bit of a gap here. You could sand this even more and reduce that. But this amount of grade is probably satisfactory for our purposes. That's how you build a transition between roadbed and sub-roadbed. You may have several spots in your layout where this is needed, as I do. You do it the very same way, and I think your operations will be satisfactory with the short grade as long as you do a smooth transition. So try this on your layout. I think you'll be happy with the results. Thanks again for watching the Norfolk Southern Sherwood Subdivision.